The movie kicks off with Joe, a hardworking Alpha Train employee, wrapping up his shift and discovering a letter in his drawer. His excitement quickly deflates as he reads that his long-awaited promotion to supervisor has been denied. Just when he's grappling with disappointment, in walks David, adding insult to injury with his taunts about Joe's setback. To top it off, Joe gets roped into covering for a sick colleague, Ken. Reluctant at first, Joe's mood shifts when he catches sight of Ellen, finding a silver lining in the chance to spend time with her. With newfound determination, Joe gears up for the unexpected shift ahead. As Joe takes on his substitute duties, he encounters a series of intriguing characters aboard the train. His first encounter is with Kate, a regular passenger who's misplaced her ticket, forcing her to pay full fare. Then, in the quiet carriage, Joe stumbles upon Nina, who's causing a ruckus and disrupting the peace for elderly passengers Jenny and Ged. Despite Joe's attempts to maintain order, Nina accuses him of inappropriate behavior, leaving him frustrated and questioning the challenges of his job. Amidst the chaos, Joe finds solace in brief moments with Ellen, seizing the opportunity to connect with her and discuss their aspirations. Despite his hopes for a chance to unwind over drinks, Ellen's busy schedule dashes his plans. Exhausted but determined to keep the train running smoothly, Joe settles in for what he hopes will be a peaceful journey. However, his respite is short-lived when the train jolts to a halt, thrusting Joe into action as he navigates the unexpected disruption with the passengers. Returning to the passengers, Joe notices Paul, a smooth-talking traveler, coming to Ellen's aid after her cart topples over. A pang of jealousy twinges in Joe's gut as he watches Paul assist Ellen, though he knows he can't intervene. Despite his inner turmoil, Joe dives back into his duties, assisting Kate and the elderly couple before being redirected to Nina's escalating disturbance. Attempting to defuse the situation, Joe's efforts are met with baseless accusations from Nina, fueling his frustration. Choosing to brush off her unwarranted claims, Joe lends a hand to Matthew in locating his misplaced book. Meanwhile, as the driver discovers a stag trapped beneath the train's wheels, chaos ensues when a sudden attack by a werewolf claims the driver's life. With uncertainty looming, Joe valiantly waits for the driver's return, expressing gratitude to the passengers for their cooperation. But as time passes and signs of the driver's absence grow, Joe and Ellen are forced to seek assistance from the control center, where they're informed of a prolonged delay due to storm damage on the tracks. Returning to the distraught passengers, Joe finds himself in a precarious position, forced to withhold the truth about the driver's disappearance to maintain order. However, as tensions rise and demands for answers escalate, Joe's facade crumbles, revealing the grim reality. Outraged by the revelation, the passengers demand action, with Paul emerging as a voice of reason, proposing an evacuation to the nearest station. Despite the potential consequences to his own livelihood, Joe staunchly opposes, citing the safety of the elderly passengers as his primary concern. With tensions reaching a boiling point, Joe reluctantly relents, aiding Paul in organizing the evacuation. Leading the group through the ominous forest, Joe's unease mounts as a lurking presence shadows their every move. Joe and Ellen implore the other passengers to hold tight as they cautiously press forward. But as they forge ahead, their hearts sink at the sight of their driver's mangled body. With a mix of horror and urgency, they rush the group back to the train, leaving the elderly couple momentarily forgotten in the chaos. Yet, even in their haste, the looming threat manages to snatch Jenny, leaving her injured, but miraculously alive. Amidst the flurry of activity on board, Joe grapples with fear as he battles to secure the door against the relentless assault of the werewolf. Ellen's desperate plea for help for Jenny only adds to the mounting pressure. Despite his best efforts, Joe's attempts to call for aid are met with frustration as the radio fails to connect. In a stroke of luck, Billy steps in with his knowledge of engines, identifying a critical issue with the fuel tank that could leave them stranded. With tension mounting, the group debates the nature of the creature outside, with Jenny's chilling account fueling speculation. As thudding noises echo through the darkness, Joe, accompanied by Billy and Paul, investigates, only to stumble upon an unexpected passenger trapped on board. Amidst the chaos, Kate extends a comforting hand to Nina, sharing a personal connection in an effort to soothe her frayed nerves. But as the situation grows increasingly dire, the werewolf strikes again, plunging the train into darkness and throwing the passengers into a panic. Nina's obliviousness to the danger only serves to heighten the tension, culminating in a tragic and violent end. Amidst the chaos, Ged's steady leadership emerges, rallying the group to action. Together, they arm themselves with whatever makeshift weapons they can find, united in their determination to survive. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Kate extends an apology to Joe, acknowledging the strain of their harrowing ordeal. Once the chaos settles momentarily, Ged approaches Joe, his gratitude palpable for Joe's valiant efforts to shield them from harm. Joe stands alone, contemplating their predicament, when Paul sidles up with a tempting offer to abandon ship, citing the supposed weakness of their fellow passengers. But Joe, steadfast in his determination, refuses to leave his companions behind. However, their brief respite is shattered when Jenny suddenly falls ill, spewing blood in a terrifying display. Joe's relief at the discovery of Fatty's absence is short-lived as he rushes to find the trapped passenger, only to be thwarted by Paul's deceitful intervention. Despite Paul's attempts to hinder him, Joe presses on and locates Fatty, only to witness his brutal demise at the hands of the werewolf. As Joe attempts to return to safety, he's met with a locked door, courtesy of Paul's betrayal. Desperate and cornered, Joe's only hope lies with his fellow passengers. Their united efforts to rescue him are interrupted by the ferocious werewolf's intrusion, thrusting them into a battle for survival. Amidst the chaos, they make a chilling discovery about the werewolf's origins, realizing it was once one of them, a victim of a mutation gone awry. Ged's grim recollection of a past tragedy only deepens the sense of foreboding surrounding their plight. With tensions running high, Joe's patience wears thin as he takes decisive action against the werewolf. But as the dust settles, a new threat emerges in the form of Jenny's transformation, prompting a tense standoff among the group. Joe's leadership is tested once again as he orchestrates a plan to contain the threat posed by both Jenny and Paul. With Billy and Matthew tasked with repairing the train, Joe expresses his gratitude to the group for their resilience in the face of adversity. Amidst the turmoil, Kate's revelation about her past encounters with Paul sheds new light on their precarious situation, hinting at deeper layers of betrayal and deception lurking within their midst. In a moment of callousness, Paul rebuffs Kate's attempt to jog his memory, leaving her stung by his cold dismissal. But amidst the tension, a cry for help pierces the air, drawing Matthew into the heart of darkness, where he stumbles upon Nina's grisly remains. Fear grips him as he tries to flee, only to find himself surrounded and mercilessly slaughtered by the lurking werewolves. As the chilling howls of the creatures echo through the night, Jenny undergoes a horrifying transformation, joining their ranks. Billy, desperate for freedom, scrambles to repair a puncture, only to come face to face with the looming threat of the werewolves. With the engine roaring to life, Joe and Ellen make a risky decision to push forward, heedless of the danger lurking ahead. In a heart-pounding sequence of events, Paul's selfish instincts propel him to betray his companions, sacrificing Kate to save himself. His cowardice reaches new heights as he abandons Ged to a gruesome fate at the hands of Jenny. But when faced with Joe and Ellen's defiance, Paul's true colors emerge as he attempts to trap them among the ravenous werewolves. However, Billy's heroic return brings a glimmer of hope as he bravely confronts the beasts, sacrificing himself to ensure Joe and Ellen's escape. Alone in the wilderness, Joe makes a gut-wrenching decision, pushing Ellen away to safeguard her from the impending danger. As the werewolves close in, Joe stands his ground in a fierce battle for survival, his bravery overshadowed by the overwhelming force of his adversaries. Meanwhile, Paul's discovery of a clue leads him to a shocking encounter with Joe, now transformed into a werewolf himself. Joe and his newfound pack unleash their fury upon Paul, bringing a brutal end to his treacherous journey. With Ellen's haunting arrival at the station, clutching Joe's badge amidst a storm of bloodshed, the curtain falls on a harrowing tale of survival and sacrifice.